Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. This Saturday is UFC Vegas 49. The main event is Islam Makhachev versus Bobby Green. And depending on how this main event plays out, we could have an absolute nightmare scenario for the UFC lightweight division. And that nightmare scenario is Conor McGregor getting a lightweight title shot in his return, which for me would just be absolutely egregious. So you look at this fight, you have Islam Makhachev, who's currently ranked number 4, fighting unranked Bobby Green. This was originally supposed to be number 4 Islam Makhachev versus number 3 Beniel Dariush, and the winner was going to be the number 1 contender in the lightweight division after Charles Oliveira fought Justin Gaethje at UFC 274. Whoever came out as champion was most likely, depending on how that fight played out, was most likely next going to fight the winner of Makhachev versus Dariush. Well, you have Dariush pulled out, and the UFC tried to find a replacement opponent. Apparently, they offered a lot of people in the top 15. No one was willing to fight Islam Makhachev on short notice, which I don't blame them. And they got to Bobby Green, who just fought at UFC 271 and was willing to step in and fight Islam Makhachev. This is technically not even a lightweight fight, but, it's really a lightweight fight. It's a catchweight of 160 pounds. Bobby Green apparently had ballooned up after his UFC 271 performance. Somebody told me that apparently he said he was 195 pounds. So he needed that little bit of a 5-pound allowance at 160 catch weight to be able to make weight. But for all intents and purposes, it's still a lightweight fight. Now, if you go into this fight, Bobby Green is a massive, massive underdog. And if somehow he pulls this victory off and he beats Islam Makhachev, I don't think it would be so crazy to give Bobby Green a title shot. But at the same time, he has one win over one top-ranked guy. I guess you can make the case. I wouldn't have a huge problem with it. But let's look at the rest of the lightweight division. So you have Charles Oliveira as champion. You have Justin Gaethje fighting Charles Oliveira at UFC 274. So that fight's already done. You have number 2, Dustin Poirier, who's coming off a loss to Charles Oliveira. Then you have Beniel Dariush at number 3, who is out with an injury for who knows how long. Then you have Makhachev, who would have just lost to Bobby Green. Then you have Michael Chandler, who's on a 2-fight losing streak, 1 to Oliveira and 1 to Gaethje just recently in November at UFC 268. Then you have Dos Anjos, who's only on a 1-fight win streak right now over Paul Felder and has a fight coming up with Rafael Fiziev at UFC 272. Then you have Tony Ferguson, who's on a 3-fight losing streak. Then you have Dan Hooker, which I don't know why he's still in the rankings at lightweight. He's moving down to featherweight, or has moved down to featherweight, and has a fight booked with Arnold Allen, from what I understand. Then you have Gregor Gillespie, who's on a 1-fight win streak against Carlos Diego Ferreira. Then you have number 9, Conor McGregor. And then you have Rafael Fiziev, who's fighting RDA and this is his first real step up in competition against RDA. So you look at the top 10, and there's not a lot of options to fight for the title. Islam Makhachev is the guy to fight for the title. And I know people criticize his resume and says he hasn't fought the best competition. If he beats Bobby Green, he would be on a 10-fight win streak. And I think there's nobody else that would deserve it more, even though Islam Makhachev hasn't fought the toughest competition. He's accepted fights with great guys. I made a whole video on that. I'm not going to get into that too much. But let's go under the assumption Islam Makhachev loses to Bobby Green. Who do you give the title shot to? There's nobody that's really deserving. Unless Charles Oliveira and Justin Gaethje is a really close fight, controversial decision, and they decide to run that back, there's nobody in that top 10 that has a open and shut concrete case to a lightweight title shot. So let's just say Charles Oliveira defeats Justin Gaethje, no problem. He submits him, whatever. And, now he's looking for his next defense. Who is it going to be? Could you not see the UFC giving it to Conor McGregor? And I have another scenario where I think Conor could get the shot as well. But could you not see if Bobby Green upsets Islam Makhachev? They're going to say, well, Bobby Green's only beat Islam, really. I know he will be on a 3-fight winning streak at that point in time, but Ali Quinta, Nasrat Haqparast, and then Islam Makhachev, not the greatest winning streak outside of Islam Makhachev on the resume, which would be absolutely insane. Could you not see Dana White? Charles Oliveira has already said he wants to fight Conor McGregor. And why wouldn't Charles Oliveira want to fight Conor McGregor? In his eyes, he sees it as one of the easier fights in the division for the most money. Why would you not take that opportunity? So I don't blame Charles Oliveira at all. Then you have Conor McGregor. He's definitely going to want that fight. He's openly campaigned for that fight. Why would he not want it? Why would he not want to walk right into a title shot? Could you not see Dana White saying, You know, Conor McGregor is the first ever 2-division champion. The kid has done everything we've ever asked for him. You know, he's taken short notice fights. We've called him up and said, your opponent's out. You know, who would you be willing to fight? And he says, I'll fight anybody. The kid's done everything we've ever asked of him. He's the first 2-weight champion. Why wouldn't we give him a title shot? The fans want it. Oliveira wants it. Conor wants it. Why wouldn't we do it? And of course they would do it, because Charles Oliveira versus Conor McGregor is the biggest fight in the lightweight division they can do. Conor McGregor fighting for a title, regardless of the streak he's on, is going to sell a lot of pay-per-views. And, you know, for me, as a person who likes to look at the sport from a merit point of view, I know sometimes there's a gray area where a guy borderline deserves it. Maybe he's a little bit bigger draw, so he gets it. But to outright give it to Conor, I think is so egregious. You have a guy who has as many lightweight wins since 2016 in the UFC as I do, which is none. He has none. He only has a win at 170 against Cowboy Cerrone since 2016, since defeating Eddie Alvarez for the lightweight title. He has not won a lightweight fight. So to give him a title shot is disgusting, but the UFC would do it because it's going to make them money, and they have a defensible case. They're going to say, well, who else were we supposed to give it to? There's nobody else there. And who cares if Conor's coming off 2 losses? People want to see him fight for the title. I would be so disgusted. But let's say Islam Makhachev does beat Bobby Green. But let's say it's a terrible fight. It's not super impressive. I could totally see the UFC saying, well, nobody really deserves it. Let's give it to Conor. Conor may not be fighting in the UFC for very much longer. He broke his leg at UFC 264 in July of last year. And who knows how much longer Conor McGregor is going to stick around. For all we know, he has, you know, millions of dollars. That's what we're being told by Conor, Forbes, UFC, Dana White, that he has so much money. Why would he continue to go out there and fight and get knocked out and lose when he could just sit back and relax? I don't know. Conor has said, you know, he loves fighting and all that, but I just have a hard time believing if he continues to lose, you know, what exactly happens with him. He's not going to go down and fight, you know, up-and-coming killers in the division. He's not going to fight Mateus Gamrot. He's not fighting Gregor Gillespie. He's not going to fight Arman Saruki and Brad Riddell. He's just not fighting those guys. So if he's not in a big fight, who's he going to fight? So the UFC wants to milk him as much as possible while they can. And if Islam Makhachev goes out there, doesn't look impressive, they could easily say, well, a lot of people believe that Islam Makhachev, you know, he needs to get a top-ranked win. We're going to rebook him against Dariush the end of this year, you know, and we're going to give Conor the title shot because, you know, the fans really want to see it. I could totally see Dana justifying it as the fans really want to see it, because Conor is one of the most popular fighters, especially among casuals. They want to see the guy fight for a title. They don't care that he has not won a lightweight fight in the last 6 years. UFC, Dana would easily do it. If Islam Makhachev loses, I think they're almost definitely going to do it. If Islam Makhachev wins but doesn't look impressive, they're going to say, well, he only beat an unranked guy at a catch weight. He didn't even fight at 155. We're going to give Conor the shot because Charles Oliveira really wants a money fight. We're giving the champion what he wants. And we've seen this happen before, where guys get undeserved title shots just because of their popularity. And I hate it. And I really hope it doesn't happen. And then there's also people saying maybe if Bobby Green wins, they do Conor McGregor versus Bobby Green for a #1 contender fight, which I love. Conor McGregor versus Bobby Green. I love that idea regardless if Bobby Green wins or not. But I still just think the lightweight division would be an absolute travesty if somehow Conor McGregor gets a title shot on 2 losses, and he's lost 3 out of his last 4, and he's only fought 4 times since 2016. I think it would be a travesty if this happened. I really hope it does not happen. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Conor McGregor may get a title shot if Bobby Green upsets Islam Makhachev at UFC Vegas 49? Let me know. Don't forget to like the video, and thank you so much for watching.